Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, we're going to be making a recipe out of A Complete Book of Home Preserving by Ball. And we're going to be making the sweet apple cider butter. And we don't have apple cider, we just have apple juice. So it's really just going to be a sweet apple juice butter for the most part. This is kind of a longer process in how to actually process these to the point of getting them to where we can can them. So before, I wanted to go ahead and remind you ahead of time to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy this kind of content. And remember to subscribe to this channel for all kinds of future videos, including canning, dehydrating, fermenting, and the occasional gardening and chicken videos. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we need to do is just to core these. It says to, what does it say? It says peeled, cored, and quartered. So we're gonna get on that and we're just gonna put it all in the pot. So remember, when you are peeling and coring and all of those things of all these different apples, you want to make sure to set aside the peels and the cores, because you can use these to make other things. Oh, I'm grabbing the bucket. But you can use the peels and the cores to make other things, especially some apple cider vinegar. If you have a food mill, you definitely don't have to take this extra step of doing the peels. You can just run it through the food mill, because it tells you to run it through the food mill or a food processor or a blender or something like that later on, so you can always just get the peels out of it. I have one somewhere, I just have no idea where it is, and it's not worth the time that it would take to find it. So we're just gonna go ahead and do the directions as the book recommends. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention, this recipe calls for 6 pounds of apples. I have a little bit more than 6 pounds of apples. I really am not super concerned. If I have a little extra, I'm just gonna put it in the fridge. And I have plenty of jars that are I have plenty of jars in there cleaning in the dishwasher. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking so I can turn my dishwasher back on, so these jars are clean by the time I need them. So we have all the apples peeled, cored, and quartered. And so, like I said earlier, I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside, and we're gonna make some apple cider vinegar with it. If you are interested in how I make the apple cider vinegar, I did make a video on how to do this, and I'll go ahead and link it up here. But let's move on to the next step. Okay, so we're just gonna add 2 cups of, it says sweet apple cider, but I just have apple juice. It says that in a large stainless steel saucepan, combine the apples and the apple cider. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat, reduce heat, and boil gently, stirring occasionally until apples are soft, about 30 minutes. It doesn't say whether or not to cover it, so I'm probably just gonna wing it and we'll see how it goes. All right. So we have let this cook down long enough, and I don't want to pull it out and run it through the food processor or I don't want to bust out the food mill or any of that kind of stuff. So we're going to try and use this, I don't know, stick-on mixer, and we'll see if this works. I'm not really concerned about it being super fine, so whatever. Next, we're going to be adding the rest of the ingredients, and that is 3 cups of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. So now that we have stirred in all of the sugar and the spices, we're going to bring it up to a boil on medium-high heat, and then we're going to lower the heat and let it boil / simmer until it boils down and thickens tremendously to where it will, like if you grabbed a scoop of it, it just wouldn't go anywhere. Basically, it'd be very thick. And during all of that, we're supposed to stir frequently. So it's been a while, and you can definitely see the apple butter here. It holds its shape on the spoon. It's very thick, it's dark, it looks delicious. So I had to pull this off the heat to do something else, and now I'm just bringing it back up, warming it up, and we're gonna bring it and get it nice and hot, boiling almost, and then we're gonna ladle it into the jars, and I'll show you that process here in just a second. So now it's time to actually ladle these into the jars, and we're just gonna put them in there with 1/4 of an inch of headspace. So we are going for 1/4 of an inch of headspace. And when you're looking at the jar, the one way that you can tell, you have this here, this bottom ring here, the bottom of it is 1 inch. This ring here, the bottom of it is 1/2 an inch. And this ring here, the bottom of it is 1/4 of an inch. So we're aiming for the bottom of this top one. And that's when you bring all the threads here to meet in the middle. That's the spot that you want to look at to measure. So we're going to go for the bottom of this top ring here. I don't know if I've ever done a 1/4 of an inch or like, I'm sure I did with jellies and stuff, but it's been a long while. So we have this at 1/4 of an inch of headspace. The next thing that we're going to do, oh, debubble it. Almost forgot. Can't forget to debubble. So debubbling it. We're just going to take our poker tool here, run it through here. Make sure we get all the bubbles out. Double check the headspace. Yep, we're good. Alright, so now we're going to wipe the rim with vinegar. See, just like that. Put the lid on, the ring. And into the canner. So now we have all of our apple butter is in here. We put a little towel underneath it because I don't have a pot protector for this pot. So I'm just going to put a towel on the bottom. And now we're going to cover it with a lid. We got the heat cranked up to high. That's a timer for something else. But once this comes to a boil, we're going to go ahead and set our timer for 10 minutes. When that 10 minutes is up, we're going to turn off the heat, take off the lid, and wait 5 minutes, and then pull them out of the canner. And I'll bring you back then. All right, so all of the time has passed. We let it come up to a boil. We set the timer for 10 minutes. And when the timer was up, we turned it off and let it rest for 5 minutes. So now we're going to pull this beautiful stuff out of the canner. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna try and give you guys a close-up here. You can see here, it's a beautiful, it's just a dark kind of caramely color. The flavor is amazing. Well, hold on. So here's some that was left over in the pot. I might have sneaked a little bit of a taste test to it because I couldn't not. This stuff, oh my gosh, it's like, it's really like apple pie. It tastes kind of like all the things that you love about Christmas and Thanksgiving on a spoon. It's so good. It's sweet, it's cinnamony, you can taste some of the cloves to it. Like, this stuff is just, I'm sorry, but it's thebomb.com. Like, I seriously will be making several more of these batches. It's so good. Holy smokes. So, I don't really see a whole lot of a need to bring you guys back tomorrow because we've already taste tested it. You can already see it. They are all starting to seal. We didn't have any cracks, didn't have any issues, no seepage. It's all just a very, very rare, great water bath canning session for me. I tend to have seepage and I don't know what's going on with it, but maybe I fixed it because this one and the one I did earlier and the one I did before that all went swimmingly. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.